here for the 2014 East Coast Scale Challenge brought to you by RC4WD. This is going to be the first of a handful of videos we're going to do, kind of interviewing teams, vendors, manufacturers that are here supporting the event. And just wanted to give you guys a closer look at what kind of happens at these events, who's here, who's supporting it, and just kind of let you guys meet some of the people face to face rather than just seeing a screen name. So obviously you know who I am, but John, you invited me here to host this event, and we're going to start off doing the first one of these with your team, RC4WD.
Yep.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, what you're doing here this weekend.
Yep. John Thornton, known as Rock Crawler with no vowels. I'm the global team manager for RC4WD. These are a small part of my team. I have my teams internationally. I got about 35 drivers that represent RC4WD, so that's great when I can get all these guys together and hang out with them. The East Coast Scale Challenge started last year with our inaugural, and was such a success that we decided to do it again. We actually got like 40 more entries than we did last year, and also sold out in 22 hours, which was amazing.
That's impressive, especially now for, well, scale is obviously blown up and is by far the premier style of event now that we're looking for. So thanks again for hosting me and getting your team here together. To my left here,
Brian Morgan, known as Racer Harley, from Freedom, New York, about an hour south of Buffalo. I'm running class 1, 2, and
next to him,
Hey, my name is Mike. I'm Buddha Train on the forums, and I'm from Ashland, Ohio, and I'm running all 3 classes. I'm typically a monster truck guy, but come out here to support my scale buddies and try my hand at that arena.
I'm Matthew, known as I'm That Guy on the forums. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm running classes 1 and 2.
switching back over to the right here.
My name is Richard. I'm running class 1 and 2. I'm from Amherst, Ohio.
Also known as Pardon My New, and that's where most of you will probably be familiar with a lot of his work, so we don't want to let that go unheard.
My name is Andy Lowry. I'm from Madison, Alabama, and I run class 1.
Also known as Lapdog, if you guys have ever seen some of his work. So,
well,
people know me for my paint work.
We got a small sampling of their rigs here. A lot of these guys are running multiple classes. As you may have heard, there's 3 classes that they're running, class 1, 2, and 3, which kind of goes by the varying dimensions of certain portions of the truck, either tire height, how far things have to fit within the body, all different kinds of details like that. It's based on a set of rules that are created by an organization called SORCA. So some of those details, they can be a little intensive, but if you get down into it, it's mostly just based on how realistic a truck is between a street style to a trail style to something completely a hardcore style trail rig beyond that. But you guys, a lot of you are talented modelers, and that shows in a lot of these builds here, all the way down from lapdog paint to complete custom bodies and trucks that don't even look like the truck they started with when you pulled it out of whatever box that it came in. Just kind of going over a few of them that we have here. Your Toyota here again, want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, it's started as a Trailfinder 2. Pardon My New did the body work to create what's shown here as a Toyota Trailblazer, which was like a precursor to the 4Runner. And I've kind of scaled it out with a bunch of details. It's got its own smoke machine, so it generates its own exhaust. It's it's having fun with it, right? And I wanted to make sure that I got it as close to the real thing as possible.
Next to it here resembles almost nothing that we drive here at this event, but
At this event,
event,
there are people that drive these.
yes,
It's weird.
and there does happen to be RC4WD parts on it.
There are plenty of RC4WD drive parts on it. Now, my scale rigs that I drive are all bolt-on, easy to accessible, not have to be a part of the Scale Builders Guild to be able to put on or anything else like that. So I do like the chassis mount servo and my axial vehicle I got for my class 1. I do obviously wheels, tires, shocks, stuff like that. But for my side of the hobby, for the monster truck scene, we do carpet racing, indoor elimination style racing. Obviously the scale shocks are a big plus. They have steering stabilizers that we use. RC4WD makes the best on carpet Rumble racing tire, known to man. So we love those as well. And believe it or not, I don't know, before, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but before RC4WD Drive moved to scale or the crawling scene, they actually had their roots in the monster truck scene. Is that correct, Tom? So let's not forget where all this started at. Not so many people are out there. So.
And it does bring up a RC4WD Drive now. It seems like all the parts you see are scale, not just crawlers, but big rigs. We see a lot of stuff now, and heavy equipment that is hydraulic and completely scale. And just what all of us wanted as we were growing up. We all wanted an actual remote control excavator, and now one is actually available, and for the heavy equipment side, more affordable than what you actually can, some of the other stuff you see. But John, your FC here in front of us, we've seen this before.
Yep. This is based off the Mighty FC prototype that Jeep Underground built 3 years ago. I saw this and got hold of one of our team drivers at the time, which was Dreedy, and didn't want to do the exact same thing, so we came up with a crew cab, and he custom built this out of styrene. So it's based off of a long wheelbase Trailfinder 2, changed it to a link suspension. Other than that, it's pretty much stock underneath. And the amazing thing about this is it got to meet the real one at the Bantam Jeep Festival 2 years ago.
I saw a picture of that sitting on the
real one.
Yeah, sitting on the tailgate or on the rear of it. So that was that's always exciting to see the full size versions of what a lot of us have pictured when we pull up next to these things. But next to another truck that I've seen in Utah, the winner of the Ugly Duckling.
So proud, so proud. Yes, this is my Ugly Duckling. It's called my barn find. Basically, it's a Grande 2 that I just customized the body and then got all the component parts and made them rusty. And as you can see, it's pretty well beat up. Had a nice story on the forums about it that a lot of people liked following. But it was a lot of fun building and writing a story about it. And it didn't do well in Utah, but it was fun driving.
The performance side versus the appearance side is a battle that some of us have to you decide one way or another. Yeah.
Yep.
And
I don't struggle with that at all.
Yeah. it is always you either build what you want regardless of what it is, and sometimes that's just making it look as good as you possibly think you possibly can, and or you build something that you want to just go out there and win at a competition, which this side of the hobby has a different dynamic than we see in a lot of other, definitely almost any other market. There's not a lot of markets where you're competing with something that you may not have really worried about what its performance was before you actually threw it down for the first game.
Yep.
But some of these look like they really haven't been driven all that much.
No.
Some of them have very nice paint that doesn't have hardly any scratches. Now, what is your guys' competition background? Is this your first comp scaling? Is it your first competition with RC, or is it your background from before?
I did nitro dirt racing. I messed around with 8 scale, and then I got into the crawlers, and that got me into the electric. And I started comp crawling. That was back in 2006 when I started the local club here, and then kind of morphed right into the scale stuff. And the scale stuff just gives you that next level of satisfaction, because now you're building something that you're trying to either make it look like something you have or something you've seen, and then you're going out and running it, and it really feels like you're running the real thing.
Do you guys have a scale competition scene in Alabama?
We have, there's a couple of groups with it in the area we get together. One of them is the Empty Pockets crew. We're on Facebook, and it's just some guys from Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, and we got a lot of places in the area. We just say, okay, we're going here this month. That's where we go.
Or organized trail runs or more of a comp style?
Organized trail rides.
Yeah, that's, seems to be more of a majority is the trail rides, and that's probably some of the most fun that I have doing the scaling.
We have a lot of fun doing it. We text everybody, okay, we're going out on this Sunday, and everybody says, okay, well, I can make it. So, not everybody can. And we get there, we load up our batteries and, something to eat on the trail, and we take off, and we're out in the woods 5-6 hours, and then we start heading back.
And a whole nother dynamic to it is, pardon my noob here, Dan, you have scaled buildings and everything out on a trail, and you produce a video that looks as if, we're obviously oftentimes trying to replicate a real full-size vehicle and trying to get the best pictures we can with a low angle, but yours kind of, in a lot of situations with your pictures and things like that, take it pretty far and pretty convincing. What's the most entertaining or fun part for you?
Well, building them first of all, the trucks, but just trying to make it look as real as possible. Just like modeling in general, not just RC or anything, just the photography and doing videos. I just like to entertain people, and I just try to make it as real as I can and trick people.
That's it. And those photos can be extremely, tricky. Most of my photos are with a camera phone or point and shoot, and I'll try and get a decent angle at times, but I know I'm not fooling anybody in most cases, and that's I would say that you lead towards the other end of that spectrum with most of your pictures on that. And it's very impressive. This truck here in front of us is a Galant?
Yes.
Galant?
Yeah, Galant 2. Pretty stock underneath. I changed the axles out. I wanted to make it look like a solid axle swap FJ Cruiser. Something pretty capable. It's got a roll cage and stuff, but
yeah. Now, do you run mostly by yourself, or do you have a group, or do you comp at all?
This event last year was my first comp.
Gotcha.
Reel them in.
I usually stick to myself. I'm that guy down there who will come down, or I'll visit and we'll play together. We have a lot of fun driving real slow, taking a lot of pictures, looking at little trees and stuff, but
that's
looking for that scale tree.
the perfect tree.
That trees and leaves and moss and finding those details in the photo. You've got scale fences and just some of that stuff is so incredible. I've watched a lot of your stuff, and it's always been impressive to me. And it's fun to get to talk to you, even though I got to pry some of this out of you. But
you're doing a good job when you Instagram a shot and you hashtag Hilux or you hashtag Toyota, and you get a whole bunch of guys going, "That's a pretty sweet looking truck, man." And then it's a real truck.
Yeah.
Just like there's no concept that it's not.
Right. That's when you know.
Yeah, and it is impressive to get those shots. I've had few that just there we go, I got it. So happy. But now I know you said you run with him.
Yeah.
As far as
back home, I live right downtown, so there's not a lot of places to play. I have to go out about an hour outside the city, but I am fortunate enough to be really good friends with one of the internet gods of scale building, Headquake.
Oh yeah.
So he and I play a lot and make a ton of videos together. He's an elusive guy, so the fact that I get to hang out with him a little bit is a real treat. Goes without saying how talented he is. If you've seen even a picture or a half-done version of a lot of these trucks, is sometimes the most impressive when you can see the layers of styrene and work that goes into, or wood, even in his case, that goes into building some of these things and taking a Toyota pickup truck and turning it into a trailblazer that just because that's all you have to start with. It's pretty interesting. That's, I think, the challenge for us is to take something that already exists and make something that doesn't exist. Because that's what really blows people away. Because when you're building something that is a one-off,
And it was so much easier to impress people in like 2004 when we could run a set of HPI Geolander tires and on some narrowed HPI top wheels and throw a Rubicon body on it, and it was the coolest thing you'd ever seen. God, well, 2007, RC4WD Drive came out with a Mudslinger, the very first scale tire that someone made for us. You know, it was crazy. Someone made a tire for us. The most seemed like we have lots of little vendors who could make a part here and there in their garage and sell it to us, but no one could make a tire. In RC4WD Drive, that was the first part that really stuck out as something like that for us. And that was in 2007, the first tire. I don't know how long that tire was on its own. The Rock Crusher, I think, was the one that came after that. The Rock Crusher was, I owned the Mudslingers right away, but the Rock Crusher was the one I fell in love with. The BF Goodrich was the tire that you saw on so many full-size rock crawlers at the time. So when that tire came out, and once it got wore in, granted, back then, the compound of the RC4WD Drive tires was not what it is today. Those tires, they made things fun by making it difficult to climb. But we had something to model around, and God, now underneath, these trucks started as RC4WD Drive trucks, which is nothing existed that was like that.
The K44 axles, some of the scaleless axles out there, the new D44s, get different widths.
Yeah, we'll actually be able to show some of the new stuff from RC4WD Drive coming up soon. I'm going to talk with Tom and John about some of the new stuff they have coming out. But yeah, the scale axles that they've been producing for so long, and it's all evolved over the years. And I started RC in crawling, basically. I never did go fast, so crawling and the scaling side was always where I started, and I dabbled in comp and then came back to scale, and it's always the most impressive stuff, and that's what
I'll give up going fast to be able to drive my truck.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. When we were kids, and the 10 minutes of runtime you got on your Nico, and then you had to wait another 8 hours to try that thing again. Yeah, throw 4 battery packs in, and you'll almost get bored when the sun will go down.
Or the old timer charger, you turn it and it stops. And, you turn it all the way up again, then you go back and you got your nice little fire and roast your marshmallows.
I may know about a burning truck before. Another story. I appreciate you guys getting together with me, and a small sampling of the team, I know, but it's always nice to put a face to a name, hear a little bit about somebody, and just get you just that much more involved. And I appreciate you guys for getting together. I appreciate RC4WD Drive for hosting me and hosting the event. You were less ready when you started.
Yeah.
But guys, thanks again, and I'm gonna get this out there for everyone to see what's coming out of this event. We'll have a lot more of these coming. So this is just the first, and we'll go from there. But thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks.